The father gave money to his daughter for an apartment. I decided to make a wedding gift, and what came of it? Ivan Petrovich married his daughter Katya alone, so it happened. And at the very beginning, when he and his wife had a daughter, they opened a savings account in a bank so that Katya would have help when she reached adulthood, and so that it would be easier for her to enter adulthood. A cheerful, noisy wedding has died down, gray weekdays have come. Having a decent amount on hand, the newlyweds Katya and Sergei went to choose their own housing, and chose a quite decent one-room apartment. There was no limit to their joy, because it's so wonderful to have your own separate housing. After a while, a new addition appeared in the family, a nice baby, a little son. Katya was on maternity leave, and Sergei worked to provide for the family, but after a while her husband for some reason became dissatisfied and annoyed. He complained that the child was too noisy, constantly shouting, and did not give him a rest after a hard day's work. He complained that they didn't have a two-room apartment, but a one-room apartment, and he didn't have any personal space. He began to talk that he and Katya needed to sell a one-room apartment and buy a two-room apartment using the money from the sale of a one-room apartment for an initial payment, and take a loan from the bank for the rest of the amount. "I don't want to sell this apartment," Katya replied. "I will get out of the decree. We will save for the initial payment, and if we buy a two-room apartment, we will let tenants into this one who will help pay the mortgage with their payments. Our son is growing up, and it's better to keep this apartment for him." Everything seems logical, but for some reason Sergei did not like this idea. And after a while, he began to stay at work for a long time, and sometimes he did not return home at all. There was a discord in the family. This unfortunately happens quite often in our life. 3 years later, Katya filed for divorce. During the trial, Sergei said that he wanted to share the property they had acquired together, a one-room apartment they bought in marriage. Another hearing was scheduled on Katya's application, and during the second court session she provided a donation for money from her father, notarized, which was just spent on the purchase of this one-room apartment. The court decided not to satisfy his claim and leave the apartment to Katya. Sergei was left with nothing. This is an instructive story for those parents who want to help their children, but naturally worry as life is full of all sorts of surprises, and that the fact of giving money can be notarized. You need to know this because marriage is a very unpredictable event, and it is better to hedge and lay straws where there is a high probability of falling. Do you agree?